Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the CoinGeek Weekly live stream. It has been a daily stream for every day of the Consumer Electronics Show. That's right, hashtag CES 2022. I'm your host, Kurt Wuckert Jr., broadcasting live from the BSV blockchain booth where everything awesome is happening. I've probably talked to 200 people myself. We have many people here talking to the passersby about the power of a blockchain that can scale to global scale and change the world through frictionless transactions and increased data integrity. There's been a lot of business deals made here today, ladies and gentlemen. I think you are going to be freaked out when you see the size of the blocks going into the rest of the quarter here. And it's only early January. There's all kinds of crazy stuff going on. And frankly, things are starting to wrap up a little bit. It's been a little bit quiet for the whole so far. And frankly, it's starting to look a little quiet as the Friday night people are breaking down a little bit early and looking to have a little bit of fun. So I will be joined by a few people here for the stream as we talk about their feedback from the event and the things that will be going on into the future. So, I'll tip this down ever so slightly. And our first guest today is going to be one Zachary Weiner from VX Pass. Zach, come on into the shot, my friend.
Thanks for having me, Kurt.
Yes,
Happy
sir.
to be here. Great experience so far.
Absolutely. Man, you guys have been absolutely killing it. I interviewed Justin earlier. You've had a really busy booth, frankly. A lot of people asking about what the heck it is you do. And I think we've gotten to benefit from the Clear app and some of people's issues with the Clear app and all of that. Tell me what it's been like from your perspective.
Well, obviously, as somebody who's competing with the Clear app for this particular space, I didn't want to put my own data in Clear, so I didn't. And when I showed up, they allowed us not to, but what ends up happening is just like everywhere else, they end up checking this paper card and just looking at it. Some of the people at the booths around us felt it was important to admit to me that they had bought fake COVID cards in order to come and experience this event. I guess it's probably my responsibility to do something about that, but I'd rather build a business that prevents it than tattle on people.
That's fascinating. I mean, this has been the political issue of the last couple of years, and it's this data science, but also owning your own medical data, the privacy aspects of it. It's a really complex issue. Can I ask, what do you think was the weirdest person? Did you get any bizarre people come into the booth and maybe really misunderstand what you're doing or give you the typical criticisms that you might get from Twitter?
Yeah, sure. Less so than Twitter, because when you're face to face with somebody, it's a little more difficult to be that aggressive, especially at a space, like this where everybody's being professional. But I think it was a little more tampered down here because everybody went through, or most everybody went through, putting their personally identifiable information into the Clear app just to get into the building. When I start by saying we don't ask for or store your personally identifiable information, that's just a better way to start the conversation than what can I do or can't I do because I'm vaccinated. And for us, for the audience right now, I'm personally against mandates. Okay, so I'm the founder of this company and I'm personally against mandates. But we spoke to an individual who runs long-term care facilities, and it is their responsibility to mitigate liability and keep people alive. So for the long-term care facility to admit people who have fake COVID cards puts the entirety of their facility at risk. And in these types of cases, it's really important that the data we're presenting has integrity and can be verified, because you can't take reasonable risk mitigation measures if you're not working with real, actionable, verifiable data.
I mean, first of all, it's beautiful. As a data privacy advocate, a medical privacy advocate, as a libertarian thinker, I look at your app and I see something very hopeful, frankly.
Thank you.
And I know a lot of people criticize you, and I feel like they're just not looking at the whole picture. I feel like you lose them at the name.
Yeah, so I think the big criticism comes from the fact that people are scared that they are going to be denied services because they don't participate in this app. But I think the biggest counter argument to that is, if the government that in your jurisdiction, right, has records of everybody who has been vaccinated, the ability for them to figure out who is unvaccinated is very simple, right? You compare the tax records to the DMV records to the medical records, and all of a sudden there's a strike force that can come directly to your door because they know you're the unvaccinated one. if we own the data rather than in central repositories, the amount of effort it would take to knock on everybody's door and go check becomes itself an impediment to implementing terrible systems. So it's actually better for everybody, whether you're scared or not, for us to own our data.
So let's talk about the business a little bit. I hear you on the politics. I hear it, and I love it, frankly. I really do. The important thing, and I've said this, there's probably been 20,000 blockchain startups that disappear because they didn't actually have a business model. They didn't actually go do biz dev. They didn't make any sales calls. And you guys have clients.
Yeah.
You guys are really actually kicking ass here.
Yeah,
you're
at
one
country
of the
level.
You're one of the only companies that, like, I look at it and I'm like, you know what? That's a business. It's not a startup. It's not a concept. It's not a protocol. Like, you're a business. What's it like being a real business in the blockchain space?
It's actually really exciting. I think one of the biggest problems that most startups that want to become businesses face on the blockchain is they limit themselves to only accepting value intake, right? Payment in some form of cryptocurrency, whether that's the chain that they operate on or some bridge between them. But for me, our client base is literally everybody. And the amount of people who own crypto or deal with exchanges, it's maybe 3, 4, if we're lucky, 5% of the total population of the world. So we can't expect that our clients actually have crypto in their wallet ready to spend. So we built a business where people can interact with buying our services in the same way that they're used to using fiat dollars. And we use the underlying asset to write the data to chain. We don't need to charge them in crypto, but we get to exchange fiat for crypto in a way that is not buy and hodl, right? Nobody's expecting their bags to get pumped off of this. It's just utility. It's simply just utility.
And so the record part of it, like, I'm thinking about medical records, but there's any kind of identity record. This could be home titles, car titles. This could be marriage records. This could be all kinds of things that your concept can just sort of be copied and pasted onto things. Now, granted, global medical records gives you 8 billion customers or something, so that's probably enough. But frankly, you could license out the idea into a whole bunch of other places. Is this something? Do you have a roadmap for stuff like this?
So in addition to the records themselves, I think one of the most licensable pieces of our technology is actually the way that we credential doctors. And so people can write a VX record without being a credentialed doctor, but that record will never be verifiable or validatable. So it always shows up with a red X on the user interface. I don't want to prevent anybody from storing their own records on chain, right? If you don't need it to be validated, you just want to make sure it's there forever. I don't want to stop you from doing that. But the way that we credential doctors, nurse practitioners, nurses, and other medical professionals is something it's unique to our business at this moment, but it's not unique to business writ large. So lawyers, doctors in the state of Florida that I live in, even barbers are licensed.
Yeah.
Those licenses are public domain, right? And there's very little way for you as an individual to validate the license that you're looking at on, let's say, a barber's mirror, because you can't call somebody and check. But if there was a QR code that used the same type of credentialing system that we've implemented for medical records, the person getting their haircut would just scan the phone and see, yes, this is a valid record.
That's fantastic. Zach, thanks so much. We're actually out of time for you.
Absolutely.
It's a
Thank
pleasure.
you for having me. Always.
So, Zach, I actually like Zach so much I decided to make him my neighbor. So we'll be hanging out back home for sure. In the meantime, I'm going to bring out my buddy, another friend. It's everybody here's a friend. You start going to war with people for months at a time on good stuff. And we've got Sean Ryan here.
Thanks
Smart Ledger.
I appreciate it.
What's shaking, my friend? How do you like CES? What's your feedback on this whole circus?
For me, it's been a great show. We've had a ton of people stopping by the booth, very interested in blockchain and what their companies can utilize it for. So, we've had, the conversations have gone a lot in different directions, a lot of different industries, and people are really getting turned on to what it's capable of doing for them. So it's been awesome.
That's awesome. So I think of you guys as so many things. Now, every time somebody says, scalable blockchain versus green tech and carbon emissions and all this other stuff, I always say, actually, you should go talk to my friends with their the ESG stuff. You've done a lot of work. Brian's done a lot of work on that concept. Can you let the general audience know what the heck it is you guys are doing in that space?
So absolutely. So, with the blockchain, I think there's, a certain few key unique features that it does across the industry. So specifically in ESG, some of the things that we're doing is, we're partnering with different hemp farms to measure different data points on the growth of a hemp plant, because the hemp plant sequesters a lot of carbon, and with a lot of the regulations and things coming out of the COP26 summit, companies are going to be held accountable for the data or the information they're putting out there about, how green they are as a company. So we see that coming, and the only way to have a true verified authenticated carbon token is to start measuring it from the ground up and know exactly how much carbon is being sequestered, and then we can have it put out in a carbon market where people can purchase authenticated verified tokens to offset their carbon footprint.
It's beautiful. And then taking another step, you guys got these ticket mint NFTs floating around, and it's like, man, what do you guys do? You guys are into everything. So tell me a little bit about Ticket Mint, and then I've got a follow-up question for you after.
Absolutely. So Ticket Mint is a smart ticketing platform we developed about a year ago. And again, back to some of the common features of the blockchain, it gives us unique things that we can do within all industries, and specifically within the smart ticketing industry. It fixes a few key pain points that have plagued the ticketing industry for years and years. And I think we've all gone to, event and wanted to go see, I don't know who it may be, but, gone to go get the ticket price and found out they're all sold out, and you have to go buy a ticket on a third party platform like a StubHub or something to that extent. So what Ticketman does, it actually mitigates fraud, and it greatly reduces the chances of third party ticket gouging. And it also adds tons of key features, bringing in the metaverse into live and virtual events and NFTs. We're bringing a lot of new innovative features to the ticketing industry. That's going to be really exciting to see, where our creativity can bring us.
It's beautiful. Are you guys like a general development firm too? As I understand it, if somebody's got a really good idea and they want something deployed, you guys would be a pretty good place to call and say, hey, where do we start?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a great team, a couple of visionaries on our team that really understand the use cases and applications. Greg Ward, our Chief Development Officer, as well as Brian Doherty. They've been doing amazing things. And, we take people through the process of what the blockchain can do for their companies. Again, back to the common use cases, we're able to identify the pain points within industries that it really makes sense to move over. And when people hear about, the low cost, the information security, and, the scalability, the reactions we've been getting are, their eyes have been opening. And, we even had a conversation with a company that was, working on a business model for a couple of years. And, after a 15-minute conversation, telling them about the features and functionalities of it, they pretty much told us they were going to change their business model to work on this platform. So, I think people are starting to get turned on to it. And I think 2022 is going to be a really exciting year for BSV.
Well, that's fantastic. What's your final feedback as people are starting to break down a little bit, break down the booths? CES 2022, everybody's saying, oh, man, this was a quiet one. But what was your experience here at the event?
Honestly, this is my first experience at CES, and, I've heard stories of the past, how busy it was. I think for us, it's been extremely productive because I think the people that did attend were the ones that were really hungry to find emerging technology that could really transform their businesses going forward. So the types of conversations we had were long and productive, and they're leading to great meetings, which, the process will keep moving down the road to hopefully some application development and some really exciting stuff in 2022.
Beautiful. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Kurt. I appreciate it. Thank you.
See you soon. So there you have it, Sean Ryan from Smart Ledger, everybody. And as you can see behind me, we got the Omniscape and Transmira sponsorship. There we go. I'll lean out of the way so you can see the Transmira logo as well. We've got the 38th guest that we've ever had here at the event. We've got Mr. Taylor Searle. Searle? Is that how it's pronounced? Not
it's like
Surly?
girl with an S.
Girl with an S.
Change the G to an S.
Girls. Yeah. I get it.
Searle's girls.
How you doing, man?
Good.
BBG. Tell us what the heck BBG is. Why are you in the blockchain space?
So, built by gamers. I would tell a lot of people here, we're not actually a blockchain company like most of the people here. We're a traditional esports organization that have been engineering a way to include the BSV blockchain into our ecosystem to enhance our capabilities as an esports organization. So the internal goal we have is, the way we say it is, we want to gamify the fan experience. So what can we do to make it so our fans of BBG they want to be better fans, the best fans possible, by utilizing things that we integrate using BSV blockchain.
Well, it's beautiful. And what does that look like in a practical sense? Is there a public roadmap, or is there stuff you don't want to reveal yet? Where are you at?
So not really a public roadmap. That's a good idea, though. So I can explain kind of the future state would be, think of Duro Dogs for a second. And think of, in Duro Dogs, you have all these activities you can go do, like lay down, dig, speak, and it levels you up. Imagine just replace those with things you would do as a fan, like comment on a tweet, buy merchandise, attend an event. Imagine if we could reward people with experience points and they level up as a fan. Now you're a level 8 fan. What does that do? Well, maybe it's merchandise is discounted, or you come to a live event like a DreamHack in Anaheim where we're playing at a LAN. We would have an event at a place where you maybe get VIP access if you're a level 10 fan, stuff like that. So really creating a way to gamify like how to be the best fans. Now in the immediate sense, like as soon as in the very near future, we will make it so that people can buy stuff on our website who are fans using BSV that they earn in streams. So our Twitch streams, we might have mechanisms where people who are watching our gamers on Twitch can earn Duro as they watch, take that and go and play haste games with it, earn different digital items. That's kind of the immediate next steps, is giving away Duro, providing uses of Duro, and kind of building that ecosystem. Really, you'll see this all start to happen as soon as Handcash releases its fiat on-ramps. Coming soon. Trademark.
Speaking of Handcash, you've got a little crew that you roll pretty heavy with. You got the Handcash guys, you got the Haste Arcade guys, there's Nifty Jigs, the Unbounded Enterprise guy. Is that everybody? And then BBG.
It's like anyone who hangs out in Twitter Spaces.
Okay, all right.
So,
all right.
If you hang out with us in Twitter Spaces,
okay, yeah.
We kind of, it's not so much that I don't want to make it seem like we're some clique. If you're on the outside, you're not part. We're just all really great friends. We become friends, and we all have this kind of aligned interest in helping this grow. We're really open to working with everyone. I try my best to reach out to everyone in the community and create relationships to the extent possible. Because if Built by Gamers doesn't have a specific use case with them, I personally want to figure out ways to invest in projects, promote projects. And so we do kind of have a crew. You could say we walk around like we're going to have an a cappella group together, stuff like that. That's a joke. But so, yeah, I mean, we've become pretty good friends, and I'd invite everyone to come join us, be our friends too.
That sounds wonderful.
You're part of my friendship.
I'm in the group too. No, I appreciate it. So, well, and that's the funny thing is, it's like you see these sort of these groups coalesce around maybe a token protocol, or maybe like all of a sudden it's like, oh, you know what, I'm going to go that direction, and we're going to need a DeFi product and a fund product and a game and all this different stuff. And it's like, at what point do you think we stop maybe being some of these little cliques and start saying, okay, here's the direction we really should all go, and then it just kind of hockey sticks from there?
That's that's a hard question. Like, how do these things evolve? What is the roadmap that we should be following of how to get to that hockey stick? Is it man, that's a hard question. So the reason I loved BSV from the beginning is because it had kind of an institutional backing, let's say. We were approaching things like an institutional grade project would. We had a roadmap, N-Chain or Blockchain Association or whatever it was, had a roadmap saying, okay, here's what we're doing. And everyone could coalesce around that vision. And I think we're getting to a place now where it's not such an N-Chain centric ecosystem. So there isn't really kind of some central planning architecture body that's saying, here's the roadmap. So how does it evolve from here? And I think the way it's going naturally is you just have these groups of platforms and participants in this ecosystem that are all kind of coalescing around each other in like creating synergies and integrations And I don't think it's so much because we think this is the right answer, but it's just naturally happening that way. So I don't know if someone was architecting this, how they would do it different. And I personally am not trying to architect it. All I know is I'm going with the momentum, and I enjoy working with people. And we're kind of just doing what seems to be a good idea and what's fun, and letting every kind of participant in this ecosystem have their internal roadmaps. And we communicate a lot. Like, I have weekly calls with all of these partners where we're sharing our roadmaps with each other for our individual enterprises and figuring out all the ways that they align. So I think it naturally will just evolve without having some kind of central party roadmap. That's my best attempt at answering that question.
No, it's good. I threw the screwball, and you took a shot at it. So, what's the best way to look into BBG and follow? Like, what do you want people to do if they're watching the stream?
So that's what's great about us is you can be on any blockchain or on any platform in BSV and love Built by Gamers, because we are the best esports organization to love, because we will make opportunities for you to level up as a fan. And anyways, you follow my Twitter, follow Built by Gamers Twitter, watch our teams compete. Like, for example, this last week, our Halo team placed top 6 in North America in the Halo Championship Series. Our Valorant team will be competing shortly in the World Championship kind of circuit. Like, become a fan of Built by Gamers and help us build a community and let your kids play esports.
Amen to that. Thank you, Taylor. It's a pleasure.
See you later.
So Taylor and I, it's funny. He was a mysterious fellow for many years. I'd be in a couple of private chat groups with him, and then all of a sudden I met him, and now I see him at like every event. So it's good to finally put like face to name and see what's actually being worked on. And really, none of it would be possible without the work that has gone into developing a basic blockchain fueled identity. And that really started with Handcash. Handcash is actually, I'm going to tell a little Handcash story. When the BSV BCH split stuff was going on, a big thing in my mind was that I love that my handle is Kurt. So if you want to tip me at Kurt on Handcash, I appreciate it very, very much. But the big thing was like, man, this is such a good UX. Like, I cannot let this disappear because of fork politics. It's absolutely the worst thing. So I'm going to bring in my buddy, Brandon Bryant. We're going to be talking about Handcash and what's going on in the Handcash ecosystem.
Hey, how's it going, Kurt?
Good, good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Oh, we both have long legs. This is going to be a problem. So, what do you think of CES? How has this been for you?
It's been great. I really like the showing that BSV has had. We have a great booth and exhibit, and you can just see Omniscape, Built by Gamers, Handcash, Haste Arcade. And we've had a lot of interest, and I've had some really great conversations.
Amen to that. So, a little bit of history for some people. If you're new to BSV or you're new to Bitcoin, the big thing at first was Money Button. Everybody wanted to log in with Money Button, play things with Money Button.
Yeah.
It wasn't great, and it got a little better, but Handcash Connect was like coming soon. But now that it's here, it is just such a great UX.
Right.
Who deserves the credit for that, Brandon?
So the whole team does. But this was a little before my time, but like Alex and Rafa will argue, Keyport was kind of the initial idea.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of challenges with that because people were losing their mnemonic seed. We had a fat client and nothing was cloud-based. So, Rafa, Yvonne, and Alex, they kind of came up with this idea for Connect with threshold signatures, which allowed us to move our APIs to the cloud and just have this amazing client as the slick app that you know today as Handcash. Those 3 original guys deserve a lot of the credit, but we have a strong team now. So yeah,
you really do. And I think first of all, it's really cool to see how many people have decided to do the onboarding thing, because I remember back old Bitcoin days, it was, hey, can I tip you in Bitcoin? Here, download this wallet. You tip your bartender or your server. And then I feel like we lost that culture a little bit at the beginning of the kind of the BSV era. Everything was enterprise data.
You know why it was lost?
Why?
Because there's no reason to onboard. It was altruistic. And that's going to change because the fiat on-ramps that are coming soon, we just had our first test top up through our internal environment.
Yeah.
Things are getting polished right now, like final integration stuff is happening. But now you can onboard people with your referral link, and you will get instant profits whenever, let's say, Kurt, you sign up 1 million people. You're getting profits from whenever those 1 million people top up. So you no longer have to be altruistic. I'm doing this for the good of the community. You do it because you want money.
Well, brilliant. A little bit of capitalism back in the Bitcoin space.
Yeah.
I love it. What's it like working in Handcash? I mean, I know you guys are mostly a remote team. You got part of the team in Europe. You got a team in up in the Northeast.
Yeah.
What is that like? How's it like working in the COVID era, working in Bitcoin? This is all a lot of like new stuff.
Yeah, we're figuring it out. We're trying to do weekly meetings and just create spaces where, you can join while it's not necessarily a meeting. You can just talk with each other, bounce ideas. It's definitely a struggle. Like, I'm the only representative Handcash here in Vegas because it's hard for everyone to get here with travel. But Handcash is actually moving to the United States.
Hey.
And I don't know if this is breaking news, but I think they decided on Miami. So the Citadel is getting stronger. So that I think it's going to progress and it's going to be really nice. And we're going to be able to move more of the team to the States.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I mean, it's a challenge.
Well, that's great news. For anybody wondering what the heck we're talking about, just move to Miami and deal with it later. But we really are building a BSV Citadel. If you want to be in the space where we have the opportunity to like co-work between wallets and apps and other players, like we're building into the Miami blockchain culture. I got a question here from Bits Complicated. Not a question so much. Hit the like button, et cetera, et cetera. Consider sharing. Yes. Thank you, please, everybody. If you could please like, share, subscribe, and everything to the channel, I would appreciate it very much. Brandon, any closing thoughts about Handcash, Bitcoin, CES, or anything else while I got you?
Yeah, the most positive thing I kind of take out of this, well, besides building relationships, like Haste has an amazing team of software developers. I didn't really know that.
Yeah.
They they all knew each other. Like they just onboarded 4 or 5 new people. That's really promising. Built by Gamers has amazing plans that I don't think are public yet. But every single person that I gave the BSV pitch to, or the thesis on why BSV is going to work, they all got it. And it's very simple. You saw their brains starting to spin like, oh, it's about volume. It's not about scarcity. So it's promising. Professionals and entrepreneurs see the value, and it's a positive, optimistic outlook.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Talk soon. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Brandon Bryant, and of course, in the closing, as I always do, my longest contiguous colleague in the CoinGeek space, we've got Pat Thompson. Everybody.
I make my return. You saw me yesterday, but you get me again today.
Dude, where have you been all day? You're always doing something else, and then I get to hear these stories. So what did you see today?
Today was interesting. I started out at the convention center, but then I went over to the Las Vegas Strip. So we were near some of the big hotels like the Bellagio and the Caesar, and really just talking to people over there, kind of like a man on the street kind of thing.
Oh, that's fun. I'm looking forward to seeing. Did you get any real humorous ones? Or were you looking for serious or humorous?
I was looking for honesty and people being genuine, and that's what we got. And I think the results of that were really interesting.
What was the topic? NFTs, Bitcoin? Where were we at?
Sure. So just like a sort of sneak peek, I'm here to see and learn more about the companies building the metaverse. So I think what falls into that is, first, do you know what a metaverse is? Do you believe or think blockchain and NFTs will play a role in that? And it was very interesting to hear, I think, just where people's level of understanding is when it comes to these concepts.
That's fascinating. I'm legitimately excited to hear, see the final product here. Should we get some people as we close? Should we get a crowd over here and do like a big wave goodbye? I feel like that'd be a fun thing to do Pat, what are you looking forward to tonight? I think we're going out for a dinner. You got anything else fun scheduled for the evening?
I think the dinner is the most fun thing we have scheduled for the evening. But I think if there's an opportunity to do some more man on the street, depending on where we are, I'm really interested in hearing what people have to say about blockchain, crypto, metaverse, NFTs.
Nah, for sure. I think Tom officially saw the hat go by from the delightful cameraman. Everybody, I want to say thanks to everybody. This is the Bare Bones crew. This is everyone that's left. If you want to get in the shot, come hop in the shot, everybody. Anyway, I don't care who you are. Come on, we can all come in and say goodbye to everybody. We're closing down at CES 2022. This has been the CoinGeek Weekly live stream daily, because why not? I want to say thanks to Alex Moon, wave. You don't get to be on the stream a whole lot either. So everybody, thanks so much. We'll see you next year at CES. This has been CoinGeek Weekly live stream. I'm Kurt Wuckert Jr. saying good night, good weekend, etc. Goodbye.